Just in this one.
All right, everyone. Melissa will be with you. She's just joining from a different link.
Yay! Hi, folks. Sorry about that. Okay, let me get to my right screen here. We had a interesting dilemma there. I went to my Zoom and it did not pop up the right information. And now I got to get back to the Zoom. This is really hard when you only have one screen, I have to tell you. Okay, let's try. I know it is because I can't expand that. We'll have to tell her to fix this. Let me share my screen and. So that's what I'm sharing. Okay. No, I don't want remote control. All right, bear with me, folks. I got to get to the. Okay, I think that's going to work now. Get that out of the way. All right. Good morning. Happy March. It's spring. We have a really small group here in the office, so we will we'll have some fun, but we've got a CE class after this, so we're going to start early and get our guests here, but we're going to do a few things. Those here, there's some breakfast in there. If you want a breakfast burrito and some yogurt and some fruit, please go do that. Those of you online, come in next time. We're ready to have some fun and let's see what's happening. Oh my gosh, we have a few March birthdays. Anybody here with a March birthday? No?
Yeah, March 6th.
March 6th. Yay, Melissa. All right. So happy birthday to all of you with March birthdays. That's right. Melissa Gasper has her birthday coming up. Okay. March anniversaries. I love seeing this, Manuel. 15 years. You're like right on my tail there. That's kind of hard because Realty One Group has only been around for 20 years. So that's pretty cool. All right. Congratulations to all of you. We've got a few people that are just hitting that 1 year mark. That is awesome. Thanks for being here and hope you continue. Okay. And then we have our $1 Million Club. Now, how many felt the market just kind of be a little kind of sluggish last month? But look, we still did $81 million out of this office alone. That's pretty crazy if you think about it. $81 million. So congratulations. So we had, what is that? Let's see, 15 people this month hit the $1 million mark. Last month we had 16. So not a big shift. You guys have spread the wealth. So congratulations to all of you. Let's see, did Melissa disappear? She went, oh, right there you are. Just work back. So congratulations being on that list again. And for anybody that's on there for the first time, congratulations. That's a lot of fun. Wishing you the best for continued success. We've got 3 new agents that have just joined us. I don't know that any of them are here. I see agents. I know all of you very well here. So if any of you are joining us online, congrats and welcome. We're thrilled to have you as a part of our team here. So okay. And for those that don't know, if you'd like a free year without your monthly fees, refer 3 agents and they do stack up. So, you know, you don't have to do them, although I'd love it, like all within a month, but they do have to stay. That is there is a little bit, they do need to stay for a little while. They can't just hire on and then disappear. Okay. So we are going to jump right to our lenders. Barb, because you've got a class, so we're going to start with you, so you can disappear and go do that. And get ready for your presentation. I'm gonna let you move that up, and I'm gonna grab my coffee.
Hi, I have to back up. Otherwise it'll cut my head off. Welcome everybody, everyone online. What day is today? Tuesday. I'm teaching a class at 11 to 2 on reverse mortgage if anyone wants to come. But thank you for joining the meeting today. And basically Epic Lending, Barb Spitzak, Mike Tizano, we're here for you. With any lending needs you guys have, we have programs that fit every kind of need. I mean, outside the box, you name it. You know, we're happy to run those scenarios with you. We have marketing materials. You know, we're also happy to do open houses. You just have to let us know and reach out so that we can go through that with you. The all-in-one loan is a game changer for some of your clients. I really hope that you take a look at that loan to help people realize how much they can save in interest on a loan and possibly build their wealth with properties in the future. So I have clients that have said I've changed their life with this loan because they've been able to save so much in interest. All of their income goes into that account that's attached to their mortgage. And they were able to buy an investment property a few years later with cash. That's how well it worked for them. So there's all kinds of scenarios for people. There's a simulator online. If you go to allinOneLoan.com, Mike or I can walk you through the simulator to see if it's right for you or right for your client. And we're happy to do that. Sometimes it shaves off 20 years off a 30-year mortgage. Sometimes it shaves off, you know, maybe you're paying it off in 7 years, maybe it's 4, just depending on your lifestyle. So reach out. Have a wonderful day, and I'm going to turn it over to Melissa. Thanks.
How many of you attended the Tuesday training with the all-in-one? Did anyone here do that? Okay, I can't see those of you online because it blocks my entire screen, but if you have not, we saved, we recorded that. We do have it. If it is not in our YouTube yet, it will get there this week. But it was an amazing class. And so I really encourage you to go look at that. You know, I'm one of those people that, like many of you, we're very used to, this is the way we do our loans. 30-year fixed or 15-year, you know, fixed. This is what we do. And yes, I was around for the negative am loans. So, you know, I'm familiar with the negative amortization. This is not that. This is just taking things and going topsy-turvy with what you think you know with how home loans operate and making it an advantage to the buyer, not the bank. It gives you an opportunity to control your money and where you're able to leverage that. And we all know, look, if you've ever had credit issues, you all know when you have a credit problem, you can't get money. And then when you're doing great and you have money and you don't need to get that extra credit or you don't need to get that extra loan, you can get it easily, right? You've got, I don't know, 20 emails and you know, 6 applications being sent to you. You've been approved, right? But when you're struggling, you don't have it at all. So this is an opportunity for somebody that does have money to keep that money and leverage it so they can pay less in interest. When we took one of our agents here that came in and asked me, she said she was selling her home and they were going to buy another one. They were going to put all their proceeds down. I said, hold on a minute, before you go do that, please talk to Barb and Mike. Mike ended up running those numbers for her. And I think the initial run with just her husband's income, because she's a realtor, right? So she was going to be dumping in larger sums, but his salary, they could pay it off in 10 years. What would typically be a 30-year loan, and they would not have had access to the $200,000 that they were going to put in the bank account. But now they would have access to that. And if they didn't tap it, they could pay that off in 10 years. Think about that, folks. Does anybody run an amortization schedule? That is a huge savings. Yep. So they can pull from it. They could buy another house. Just means they've got more interest to pay, right? Get that, but it's there for them to do what they want. And if you've not talked to Barb and Mike about the list and lock, some of you with listings trying to find new ways to approach this market that is a little bit, it's kind of just soft, right? People are waiting for what's happening next. So this gives you an opportunity to do something with your listings to draw attention to it. And the reason we had Barb go first and we're next going to have Rock Title, or no, I think you are going to be next, man, is because this afternoon at 11 o'clock, we do have Preserving Homeownership for Seniors. It is a CE class. Do we know how many people are coming? Do we have? So we still have a little room if a couple of you want to come down here. If some of you here want to attend, it is general credit hours.
By the way.
Awesome. Kim, come on up. We've got Kim with Old Republic Home Protection.
Good morning, everybody. I wanted to remind you about the new A2L refrigerants. I've been getting a lot of questions about that. We know the heat is coming. Old Republic has addressed the new A2L refrigerants in such a way that, let's say you have a split system, maybe one portion of that system fails and the other portion is still working. In other words, like maybe the compressor dies and the air handler is still working. Typically, we would only repair or replace the portion of that has broken. As long as current refrigerants and current parts that support the current or the old R22 refrigerants are available, we will source that if we can. If our independent contractors can source those materials to do the repairs, we will do that. If and when those become not available anymore or so astronomically expensive that it doesn't make sense anymore, then we will move to replacing not only the non-working part, but the working part. That's huge because most warranty companies will not cover the working part. We'll cover the cost of that piece of equipment. It'll be an out-of-pocket cost to the client to cover labor and install. Okay, so that's still a huge savings. Another thing I wanted to mention, there's a lot of properties out there with like next gen casita type. We all call it a different thing, but I just want to make sure you all know that you'll need casita coverage to be sure that if that particular portion of the property has its own HVAC system, you'll need to add the casita coverage onto that plan. As long as a casita or a next gen attached or detached has its own entrance, then you'll want to add that casita coverage. And you can do mixed match. In other words, if you're doing, say, the platinum plan on the main property's house, or the main house, and then maybe the casita, you don't necessarily feel a need to put platinum on that. You can do our silver or our gold. So you have the ability to mix and match that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I sponsor our North 32nd home tour every month. That's at Chompy's. The next one is going to be on April 10th. And it's huge. We have a lot of attendance there. That's a very old running, and it's in your neighborhood. We've been doing this for years, and I usually have 15, 30, sometimes more agents attending, and you do not have to have a listing on tour, but It's a really nice tour. We call it the Shaberhood Tour, but it's 85028 and 85032. And I really encourage you to come. We serve you breakfast, doesn't cost you anything. And we share a ride, and everybody meets at Chompy's. And if you want to carpool, we bring you back to Chompy's so that you can get back in your car. But please come. And yeah, North 32nd Home Tour, and it's Chompy's, and the next one's April 10th, and we meet at 8:30, and we're usually done by about 11:30. But it goes quickly because she routes them really well. Yeah. So, all right. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Okay, now we've got our lovely ladies and gentlemen from Rock Title. Come on down. Oh, you're just one of you.
Just
coming.
one today. We're like, got a lot going on.
Shy after the baseball. You're just like, yeah, we're in the sun. We're good.
We have class. We've been away from our desk. It's been a little bit crazy, but it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. And everybody's doing well. As you know, St. Patty's Day is now over. So you can't use those, but I noticed there's no more door jammers, and there's the other spring Popeyes that you have. So I'm gonna bring some more in the office because they seem to be going well. Being that it's springtime, we all want to make sure we do some spring cleaning. So I gave everybody today one of these Rock Title car fresheners, and they're always a little wonderful gift. The last thing I want to bring up is tomorrow night it was supposed to be a 4-house broker open house, but I am so graciously letting another man in because he really wants to show his house. So if you see my advertisement all over social media and everywhere, there's another house that's going to be it'll be there. But Lori Kahn from this office is having her. She was one that asked me to do it. There was going to be raffle prizes. There's going to be food. And it's really, really important in our organization that we support each other in these broker opens, that everybody comes and shares, and it just brings excitement. So if you're able to make it tomorrow from 4 to 6, we'd love you to come. Just look on my social media and you'll see it all over. It's there. And I think that's about it for today. And just remember the 50% off on Rock Title, because I've had all the homes do that because it's an extra savings, especially with these high dollar homes. Anyway, we'll see you in class in like
40 minutes.
40 minutes. Thanks.
We're running upstairs for that class. So for those, everybody here I know is aware of the 50% off escrow fee. But those online, just want to make sure you see that language. And that even if you are a buyer and you are trying to get this through, if the listing agent will put it on that MLS and print that out, you can submit that. As long as it's in the MLS and been printed, so they don't need to know that it was happening concurrently with writing the offer. So, all right, let's get to numbers. Oh, yes. Yes, it is. Yes. And for those that did not hear online, want to make sure you know that it's 85028 and 85032. It goes all the way to Union Hills, I think, to catch that northern end. So yeah, it does have a wide range. The interesting thing, if you're not familiar with all of 85028, you have quite a few $1 million plus homes. So sometimes, depending on how they're setting it up, they will bracket it for either a higher price point or a middle price point. They try not to have a $400,000 and a 1.8 million. It's a little hard, but sometimes that's what happens. So and usually it's only 10 homes. So
Yeah, we're somewhere between 7 and 9 on average.
yeah. So 7 and 9 homes. Great tour though, folks, if you've never been there. And for those that did it during a time period, they used to have it that you had to have it open the entire time, which was a little bit of a juggling. They went away from that a long time ago. So very easy, standard. You go to the home, the agent opens it up and gets you through. They ring the doorbell and you move on. It does go very quickly. They do have people that ring the doorbell to make sure that you're moving through quickly. All right. So let's talk about February numbers with our Maricopa County real estate snapshots. Again, this was put in your newsletter. If you're not aware, I run it for 2 weeks. I do 2 different Sundays where we put it in and then we pull it out. Okay, so you do have all the information. This slide, this is the latest slide right here, is part of about 6 slides or decks that you can look at. You will note that the only thing down on this list, if you look at the very top number there, is the sales price. Isn't that interesting? Everything else has gone up by a little bit or a lot. So solds were up 1,000 in February over January. Under contract, we had 525 more homes last month under contract. Days on market, a day difference doesn't really matter there. Active and coming soon, 1579. We are seeing more people put things into coming soon. It's fascinating. So we're not quite sure why that is, but it is fascinating. And again, it all depends on when I'm pulling this up. So when I do this, you know, obviously this was later in the month than I normally pull it because we're a week later with this meeting. So some of these numbers won't necessarily align exactly with the other months that I've pulled, not on this, but on the other ones. I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, so we can't see. Can we see that top number? I don't know how to move that out of my way. That top number was showing our January was at 630,000. February is at 624. Again, those are the average sales prices. And again, that just dropped up just around 6,000. Okay. The blue are the numbers from January versus we're doing February numbers, right? So the blue was 23,000 active and coming soon. That's up 1579 because you can see the number here is 24,624, right? So you can see those. Now, let's get down to the Maricopa County overall actives. That is all different types, not just single family, all different types is showing 18,952. That's up 1,400 units, almost 1,500 units. Single family, which is what the rest of those numbers are, single family actives, almost 14,000 units, folks. That's up 1,100 units. That is good news. Interesting that it's not up higher considering everything else, but we had such an increase in January, which is normal this time of year, right? Everybody talks to you in November, December. I don't want to wait. I want to wait until January. I'll list it in January. So January, we get that huge influx, but still February, we got more listings, right? So coming soon, that in this particular poll today or last night was down just a little, but the solds was still up 769. That's what we want to see. We want to see more sold listings because right now our actives are going up like this and our solds are just going up like this. Okay. 10-mile radius. These are all good numbers, right? That we are up everywhere, but coming soon. So who cares on that one, right? So again, everything's up. And nice to see in decent triple numbers there, right? 373, 217 on your active listings. But more important is seeing the sold numbers be up almost to that same level, right? If you look, we've gone up actives, listings for all of them 373 and sold was up 252, and then single family up 217 and the other was up 167. So we did increase with those sales, which is what we want to see. All right. So again, you've got different ways you can look at this. Over on the far side, that's what you're seeing in my newsletter is the monthly market reports. If you're not understanding what those little buttons are, they give you a variety of things. This is the market snapshot social. It's already been designed that you can put it immediately into your social media. It's the right shape, everything ready to go. So again, different look than some of the other ones that you saw, like that other one with the little houses and stuff that I use, but it's a good one for social media, gives the detail really quickly. All right. Closed sales. That's what we want to look at, right? I'm not showing you the actives, which by the way, 24,000 or whatever, 23,000 units. The last time we were at that was 2014 with that much inventory. So it's been a while. But the important thing is that we are going up on our closed sales. The jump from January to February is really important. Now you can see we did the same thing last year and the year before, right? So it is pretty typical that January does not have as many closings as February. So that's fine. That's right in line. And something we definitely want to see is those closings. Let's look at how this actually looks on these stats, right? So the sales price increased, which is interesting there because we have an overall sales price that decreased is what the market report says, but I ran, of course, a different time frame. So let's see, I'm trying to think on those. I did wonder if I didn't run that. So when I run that for yesterday. So that's where those numbers are going to shift. Because when the report was run on the 5th, I don't know if she ran just the month of February. When I do these numbers down here, though, I did run these from just the month of February. So that's why that's not going to match what Leah ran. Because these, I run this one for February 1st to February 28th. And so because February is a shorter month, she's running the 30 days, which is not going to have the same set of numbers. But these are the numbers that I'm looking at, 518, 575, right? So, oops, sorry, 510. 510 to 518 is the number. So up $8,000. Does that make sense? Got people going, wait, what is she saying? So here is down here on the bottom, here is the median comparable sales price. And here up here was last month's at 510. All right. So the list price stayed the same, 575, 575. It's kind of odd, but it did. And then the housing supply stayed at 4.15 up there in the yellow and down here in the green, 4.15. So, and you can just, I track that from month to month so we can kind of see that. Then in the 10-mile radius, we can see these numbers here. I'm going to give you the one that gives the info at the very top. Let me move my picture out of the way. So here we had a median sales price increase to 725, which was up 13,000. The list price only increased $1,000. Again, you can see the luxury market of a good portion of our area is in. One of the things, I was on a Cromford report last week, actually 2 days in a row. And, you know, Tina was talking about the fact that luxury is a tough nut to crack, because when we say luxury, we know what that might mean in whatever city we're working in. But all of us can agree $1 million home in 85254 is going to be a lot different than $1 million home in Apache Junction or in Surprise, because $1 million in 85254 is not going to buy you much, right? So luxury has kind of taken this twist because it all depends on where that luxury market is. So keep that in mind as you're working through these. But here,
That looks like crazy, right? Like 10 miles of office, like $13,000 of increase or whatever. That's 1.8% increase, and the other was 1.6 increase. They're
Right.
increasing throughout the state.
very similarly, right? And what this doesn't show us, which of course is the challenge, is what concessions are sellers giving on transactions right now. So if you are not watching, part of the reason we watch this is to see, you know, whether it's a declining market or increasing market, because this is what kind of shows that overall trend. But this is over the year. If you will look between this and this, I mean, it's not very much between that 3 months and this 3 months, but we can all agree with the feeling and the energy has definitely shifted. We know we are in more of a buyer's market. If you look at either the Cromford report or you go on to the report we can get through Rock Title, those are all showing we're no longer in this huge seller's market. It has come almost all the way back to a buyer's market. Some places have a slim seller's market. And what Tina Tambor tried to say is this is not declining like this. This is not a steep decline. It is a, yeah, she used the word glide. It is a glide, right? And sellers are participating. They are providing incentives to buyers to buy that home. Now, what is key when you are in this type of market for your sellers to do to their properties?
Make it the best they possibly can.
Make it the best they possibly can, because if there's any little thing, there's another home around the corner. I'm done here and I'm walking out, right? And they're gone. So please, please talk to your sellers and help them understand it's really important from the onset, when they first go on the market, that the home is ready, smells good, it's
Yeah.
cleaned up, the front yard is clean, the backyard is clean, that it is ready for people to walk through to see the best possible representation of that home. Still doesn't mean they're not going to get asked to contribute, but it's going to mean that they actually have a chance at the table,
Yep.
because otherwise they may not even be on that table.
And that, was, I used
Yep.
that in my listing, whatever. So this is showing at 3.7% appreciation for the year,
Mhm.
which is good to show your buyer, because everyone thinks, oh, home prices are going down, everyone's decreasing their prices. So from $699 to $725 for the sales price, that's 3.7% appreciation. The homes are still appreciating, but not at 10%.
Correct. They are appreciating a little bit, but it is not a large number.
For every little bit you wait, you miss a little bit.
Correct.
So people are waiting for the prices to go down.
Inflation appreciating.
They are appreciating at least the rate of inflation. Thank you, Barbara. That's correct. So they are appreciating at least to that level. And the challenge, as you just mentioned, Melissa Gasper, is that, when you're dealing with somebody that says, I'm going to wait because I want to wait for either rates to go down or prices to go down. Well, as we can see, the prices aren't going down much.
Yeah,
And-
the listing prices.
The listing prices are going down, but the sales prices are not. So that's the key, is that they need to know that the more they wait, the more money they will inevitably be paying. Even if the interest rate goes down, the purchase prices have gone up. And so by the time, if they wait a year or a year and a half, they're ending up potentially paying more in the long run. So again, right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's why we're seeing an increase slightly in coming soon. I've seen that in searches too, because that's our other strategy when people want to wait. We're like, hey, let's put in coming soon, see what interest there is, So I think buyers and sellers both want to wait so much right now that
So
people are being useful.
that's a great question. How many of you, and Curtis, if you'll watch the chat online, how many of you both online in the room are using Coming Soon on your listings? Yes, no, yes, okay. If so, how many days are you putting it on for Coming Soon? 30 days, okay. Anybody online, Curtis? 30 days, okay. Okay, so Jason is saying that they go early, they end up selling prior to actually going live. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, going active.
Oh, they go active. Oh, they say they're going to be 30 days before they go on the market. Then they go on the market earlier. Okay. So, and is anybody online seeing, so what I was seeing before was you'd go on the market about 3 to 4 days coming soon. So put it on Monday or Tuesday, and then by Friday go live. Who is showing coming soon? So who is, I'll change that to who is calling on coming soon. If you want to be representing your buyers, you'd better be calling on coming soon. And if you're a listing agent that is listing coming soon and you're frustrated with people calling you, get another job. I'm sorry. That's the whole point. The whole point is that you want people to call on it. So, and I have heard agents that have called and they got really rude responses. It's like, wait a minute, you're advertising to try and get activity. Come on.
The last one I called and showed that the guy was like, oh, I just turned down one earlier today, and I was like, oh, yeah. And then he let me in, he goes, well, I guess I can do it, like, thank you.
Yeah.
He didn't want to work yet.
Yeah, he didn't want to, Melissa's saying she called a guy and he did not want to show it yet. Which is fine. If your seller says, no, I don't want it to be shown until Friday, that's fine. But, you know, that's the challenge. Go ahead.
So the question from I called, but I listened to allowing.
Plenty of them. It just depends on what they've. So the question online was what listing agents are allowing showings prior to actually going active? Just so you know, you are absolutely allowed to show a coming soon property. It is up to the seller if they want to do that. So it's part of your strategy with your seller on how you feel that that will work. And again, folks, this has to do with the house, right? It has to do with the property. Are we talking about a property that is a piece of junk? Are we talking about a property that is top of the list? It's going to be the most desirable property. Like, it all depends on what your strategy to try and get that buzz about that property. Now, you may laugh when I say a piece of junk, but you know what? If you've got a property that actually does need, sad to say, the investor buyers, right? That is who you're looking at as your buyer. It is advantageous to put it coming soon on a Monday. Why? Because investors are in the office working on a Monday. If you put it on a Friday, they don't like working on the weekends, right? So if you put it even coming soon, you're going to get the activity of those investors to come by. And so that's really important for you to have that opportunity to talk to them and get involved with people doing that. All right. I'm going to move on real quick. For those that are not attending the CE class today, I want to make sure you know that Justin Taylor is hosting Lead Generation Pillars for Real Estate, Identify, Execute, and Grow. This is at noon today online, so you can jump on that with Justin. And interestingly, our prime time tomorrow, we can do a watch party if I know people are coming, if you'll just let me know. It's being called Becoming Unignorable. And again, I can put it up on this big screen here. But this is going to be with Justin Taylor, who is now the co-founder and chief learning officer of Blueprint Learning Technologies. The session is focusing on empowering professionals through cutting-edge training, actionable strategies, and the latest technology. Again, this is from 10 to 11. You can log in yourself if you don't want to come in here. If some of you want to come in here, we'll throw it up here on the screen. Otherwise, I will be watching it to see what Justin has to say. How many of you, and Curtis, you may have to look online, have attended the Rev Ups? I know most of the people here have been doing real estate. What's the earliest here? What, 3 years? 3 years. So most of you have been doing it a lot longer than that. But if you have not attended all these Rev Ups, please take a Friday and attend some of these. It may just be a good overview of things that you haven't been doing, but they really are quite fascinating to attend. So yes, 9 and 1 in their different classes. There are a total of 8 classes. Whoops. Okay, so I'm finally going to do it. I've been talking about it, but we had the whole thing in August with the changes in the contract. So for the next 2 Tuesdays, March 25th and April 1st, probably an hour and a half each day, I will go over the purchase contract and the non-member purchase contract. I'm going to slip that in there so we can kind of compare and contrast. We will go back over the BBEEA. My goal is that these 2 classes can replace the 2 classes that we had in August that talked about buyer representation and the purchase contract, so that I can get rid of those since they are kind of outdated. So, but I plan to go more line by line to make sure people understand. So all of our new agents, please jump on to those, and they will of course be recorded. Yeah, no, they will be recorded. So I got to do something to get rid of the ones we did in August, because everything's changed with what's that form, and you'll notice that has been removed from we just removed it on, or we'll remove it this Sunday from our newsletter. Okay, just to make sure you know, obviously the 18th, that's today. Next week, Rock Title has the top 10 reasons Google Business Profiles get suspended and how to protect yours. How many of you have Google Business Profiles? Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys need to have Google Business Profiles. That is how people find you. You need to have that profile. And please, you cannot use this address as your address because Google will not allow 300 agents to have this address with different start times and end times. That has to be for the office itself, okay? So please do not use us. Your address does not have to be visible to the public. So you do not need to worry about that, but you cannot put this address. Okay. That's it online. And you can find that at rockuniversity.com on the very first sheet. The WTF is still in our YouTube, but as I said, that one class is going to replace these first two classes, buyer broker and the cab seller compensation. Those two classes will replace those two that we had there. All right. I know we're running out of time here, but May 1st is our May Day. It is, but it's also our one day, which means it's our give back day. Save the date. I'm still working out some details. I'm trying to have something that we can go to and physically participate in, as well as maybe give donations. I'm working on that, but it is May 1st, 2025. So please, please plan to join us that day. Okay, One Cares. Folks, if you are doing donations and stuff like Melissa Gasper, please go on here and log your community service hours. Okay. Yeah, because she does a ton of community service, right? Because all that goes on there. Obviously, trees pledged. People, when you close a deal, you can donate to have a tree planted. But community service and dollars that have been given, we track this each year. Whoops, my thing go. Okay. Culture, if anybody's interested in joining us, we've got some stuff coming up. We'd really love some you to join us. One Summit. This is going to be incredible. Tony Robbins is speaking, but this again is our 20th anniversary. I expect this to be really huge. I would, if you did not catch that they are now allowing payment plans so that you do not have to make a lump sum payment, that is in our newsletter. Be golden and be you. Have a great week this week. I just want to make sure you obviously know about our YouTube channel, but I'm going to jump from buyers and sellers real quickly to give this screen a shout out. Our next meeting is April 8th. We are not going to do it here. For those of you online, don't worry, we will be online, but we will be doing this from the Ave Luxury Apartments. If you've not had a tour there, we are going to offer tours after our meeting. But we're going to host our meeting there. They're going to host us for our meeting. Make sure that you guys all know about that resource. It's huge. If you've got people that need something, they're in a jam, or they need to pack up and get out before you sell their home. Here is an opportunity for temporary housing for them. They take dogs of all types, which is really hard to find. So please think about that as something in your tool chest to use as a place you can refer people, and you get paid a compensation on it. So, all right, I will go back to buyers and sellers, and I have about 5 minutes before I have to run upstairs. Anything, folks? Something coming up? Buyers, sellers, anybody online? Yes, Barbara.
This thing is coming out this week. Anybody who needs Moon Valley, 5-bed, 3-bath, 3,000 square foot pool.
5-bed, 3-bath, Moon Valley with a pool.
Close. I mean, you could walk. You could very quickly go to Lookout Mountain.
You could hike to Lookout Mountain Preserve.
850.
850 gorgeous home. Barbara and Leaf. Anybody else? Anything coming soon? Yes.
I've got mine at Phoenix, 12th Avenue.
12th Avenue in Phoenix.
Yeah, it's square feet, 1779.
1779 condo. It's 679. Is that right?
Yep.
It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, two-story condo.
Yeah.
2-story. Marie? Commercial property been listed, so if you're looking for a commercial property, give Maria a quick call. Anybody else?
Well, I've got the condo in Anasazi Village.
Oh, an
The one that's right
Anasazi
now.
Village condo, so anybody looking for that high HOA? South facing,
Like, yeah, with the sunsets, nice sunsets. and that's
nice
what it is.
sunsets. So I'm
Shade.
I'm razzing Melissa Gasper for, but those that do not know, Anasazi had some change in management about a year ago, and they had a huge increase in their HOA fees.
It's
Okay.
off 6 months prepaid HOA.
Oh, there you go. So
Let's
Melissa's
put it
worked
over.
with her seller to get, they're gonna offer
19.
6 months of HOA payments prepaid. That's-
$1,000
Yep,
savings.
almost $4,000 in savings. It's the HOA is $560 a month, but what is the property listed at?
2,000.
$319, and it's a two,
It's a one bedroom,
So-
one bath, single, first floor.
1 bedroom, 1 bath on the first floor with it.
6 months prepaid HOA. I mean, like, we're giving it away.
All right, folks, anything else? Cause otherwise I gotta wrap it up. Yes, Mark.
Buyer for a 4-bedroom,
Mark has a buyer looking for a 4-bedroom,
4-bedroom, 4-bath, single level.
4-bedroom, 4-bath, single level, ensuite bedrooms, okay. PV Scottsdale, between 3 and 3.5 million. Okay, awesome. Anybody got that? Give a call to Mark. Okay, all right, folks, I gotta wrap this up because I gotta go upstairs for that class. So thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for everybody online. Appreciate it. Take care and have a great week. Bye.